don't really try to emulate my game after no one. I feel like people should emulate that game after me.
Luther Burden is one of the most unique wide receivers in the 2025 NFL draft class. He's a versatile playmaker who creates quick separation from anywhere on the field. Quarterbacks will appreciate his reliability, while play callers will have a field day drawing up ways to get the ball in his hands. Burden is exceptionally dangerous after the catch, where he will make defenders look silly on his way to turning a short pass into a long touchdown. But before we dig too deep into the Luther Burden scouting report, let's take a closer look at his journey. Luther Burden was a 5-star prospect out of East St. Louis High School in the 2022 recruiting class. He opted for Missouri over offers from Alabama and Georgia, among others. He started 10 of 13 games as a true freshman, catching 45 passes for 375 yards and 5 touchdowns. He added 18 carries for 88 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Burden also returned punts, taking 1 back for a touchdown. And then in 2023, Luther Burden saw a significant bump in production. He caught 86 passes for 1,212 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. He remained active as a runner and a punt returner as well. After the season, he was named second-team All-America and first-team All-SEC for his efforts. He was also a semifinalist for the Blitnikoff Award, given to the nation's best receiver. The numbers dropped a little bit in 2024, partly because of poor quarterback play at Missouri. Still, Luther Burden caught 61 passes for 676 yards and 6 touchdowns, while adding another 115 yards and 2 scores as a runner. Luther Burden now enters the NFL draft as a 21-year-old junior. He's listed at 5'11", 208 pounds. But let's talk about the positives, the things that we like in Luther Burden's profile. The first is he has alignment versatility. He can line up out wide, in the slot, in the backfield. This guy's a playmaker. He's a chess piece. He can move all over the formation. He's excellent at tracking the ball down the field. And for a guy who's only 5'11", he's exceptional in contested catch situations. It's very impressive. He comes down with balls in traffic more often than not. He's got excellent acceleration. It doesn't take him long to reach his top gear. And probably the most impressive part of the Luther Burden scouting report is his yards after catch ability. This is a yak machine. Every class has a guy that people tend to compare to Deebo Samuel. This year's class is going to be Luther Burden. I'm not going to make that comparison because he's not Deebo Samuel, but be ready to hear about it. People are going to talk about Luther Burden in the same breath as Deebo Samuel because of this yak ability. Don't get me wrong, he is great after the catch though. It's going to be a big part of his game in the NFL. Offense is going to scheme up touches for him to take advantage of this skill set. On the negative side, Luther Burden is a little inconsistent creating separation on the outside versus press coverage. He's excellent inside, short and intermediate areas when he has a free release. He will get almost instant separation. It's a great part of his game. But you put him on the outside against a physical defender in press man-to-man coverage, Luther Burden is probably going to struggle a little bit, especially at the NFL level, which is why we're going to see him a lot in the slot. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And while he is great at creating separation for the most part, his routes and his overall route tree do have some room for improvement. And that's part of why I think Luther Burden may be a little bit reliant on manufactured touches, at least early in his career. The archetype, Luther Burden is a possession wide receiver. You can also list him as a slot wide receiver. He's going to be a playmaker in the short and intermediate areas of the field, a lot like we see with Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed is my NFL comp for him. Jayden Reed is one of these players who can move around the formation. He can line up out wide, is primarily playing from the slot. We also see him on jet sweeps, screens, pop passes. They move him all over the place, put him in motion, try to find different ways to get the ball in his hands. And he's also winning down the field as well. I think we're going to see a lot of those Jayden Reed elements from the Luther Burden game, which could include that week-to-week volatility. We see some weeks where Jayden Reed goes out there and he puts up a boom performance, gives you a 30-point game. Other weeks, he'll give you 3 points. That could be Luther Burden in fantasy football as well. Let me know what you think of that comp. And as far as draft projection, I expect Luther Burden's going to come off the board in the first round. He could be a top 20, top 25 pick. Taking a deeper dive into the numbers for Luther Burden, and there's a lot that pops off the page here. He really checks a lot of these analytical boxes. And that starts with his 3.21 yards per team pass attempt, which came in his best season of 2023. That is an exceptional, absolutely elite number from Luther Burden. I'm happy when a guy reaches like 2.9, 2.95 in that 3 area. He's well above that. 3.21 is excellent. He also averages 6.6 receptions per game in his best season, 2023 as well. The elite threshold that I'm looking for on that number is 6. He's above that. We can say the same thing about his 39% receiving touchdown share and his 37.3% dominator rating. Again, these are coming in his best season of 2023. Dominator rating tells us how much of the passing offense a wide receiver accounted for. It's receiving yards, it's receiving touchdowns. It's just telling us that these wide receivers are commanding targets, they're commanding opportunities within their offense. They're rising above the target competition. They're making plays. They're guys that these offenses want to get the football in the hands of, which is all great indicators of talent and what they can possibly do at the NFL level. We want our wide receivers to reach at least a 30% dominator rating in their best season. Luther Burden did that with ease. And if we look at his stats, this is a wide receiver, but he had 34 career rush attempts with 4 rushing touchdowns. And he also had 24 career punt returns with 1 of them that went back to the house. That's telling me that the coaches have seen this guy as a playmaker, one of the best playmakers on their team. They're going to try to find different ways to get the ball in his hands. We've already talked about that versatility, that playmaking ability with Luther Burden. When we see these guys getting rush attempts, getting punt and kick returns, like Jaden Reed, we talked about the Jaden Reed comp. It's just a great indicator of talent, playmaking ability. It's a huge check mark, a huge plus in the profile of one of these incoming rookie wide receivers. And then finally, his age 18 breakout is excellent. That came in his freshman season, going against upperclassmen, dominating against them both on the opposing team, as well as target competition, touch competition in his own offense, rising above those 21, 22-year-olds who have been with the squad, been in college football for longer. Just tells us talent. If you're good at something at a young age, you're probably going to continue to get better at it. It's going to translate very well to the next level. We see that all the time with these guys who have early breakouts in college. It translates well to NFL production. The bottom line is Luther Burden is a versatile slot receiver who thrives at creating extra yardage after the catch. He bursts off the line to create quick separation, often in the short areas of the field, and he gets to work as a yak machine. Not only is he fast and shifty, but Luther Burden will use his strength and contact balance to easily run through arm tackles. He'll make an undisciplined and poor tackling defense pay, and he's a threat to score from anywhere on the field. That includes in the kicking game, where Luther Burden could be a team's primary punt returner, utilizing those same skills to put pressure on an opponent's coverage team. Burden can get open vertically from time to time as well. He knows how to create separation, he tracks the ball well, and he has natural hands. He's been known to make some pretty spectacular catches down the field and win in contested catch situations. Where he does struggle is getting off physical press coverage on the outside. Burden could be a viable option along the boundary, but the separation is not nearly as consistent when a defender gets his hands on him and uses the sideline. Burden will also need to expand his route tree and route quality if he's to become a complete wide receiver at the next level. Projecting to the NFL, Luther Burden is looking like a primary slot receiver who can move around the formation, win on all 3 levels, but will spend the majority of his time in the short areas of the field. That will allow him to get open quickly and do what he does best: eat up yards after the catch. Coaches will design ways to get him the football, including jet sweeps, screens, drag routes, etc. He will be a guy who is often put in motion before the snap to keep defenses on their toes and to avoid press coverage. Quarterbacks will enjoy his quick separation, reliable hands, and his ability to make tough catches. If Luther Burden can improve his route running and expand his route tree, he could become one of the best weapons from this 2025 class. And in the meantime, he will provide a complementary skill set for a team looking to add a playmaker to their offense. Luther Burden projects to come off the board in the top half of the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, and he should be a high second-round pick in dynasty rookie drafts if you're in need for some long-term upside.